Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now this is going to be another video review of the fourth episode of the Hammer House of Horror 1980 TV series that I've been reviewing. Now the episode I'm going to review today, guys, is an episode called Growing Pains. From this disc here. But before I say anything further, I'll just read you the synopsis on the back of this disc, and I'll talk a little bit more about the episode and give you my thoughts on in general. Okay, so so this is part 4 of the Hammer House of Horror Growing Pains. Vengeance from beyond the grave demands a terrifying price of parents too busy with their own lives to show affection to their dead son, and now their adopted son. So there you go, guys. That's the brief synopsis of episode 4 of the Hammer House of Horror, and there's just a photograph there, guys, of the taken from the episode. Yeah. Okay. All right then. So I'm going to talk a bit more about it now, as I say, and give me thoughts on it. Thoughts on it at the end. As a whole. Yeah. So this episode starts with a bang, guys, because we see this young boy, William Morton. He's prowling around his dad's a botanist, a scientist. He's prowling around his dad's laboratory in the middle of the night, and he's looking around. He's very curious, and he stumbles across this jar with but he doesn't know there's toxic chemicals in it. And what he does, he takes the lid off. He's like a kid in a candy shop. He takes the lid off the jar and he tastes the substance inside. And the minute he tastes it, he goes into a paroxysm, of agony, and he starts writhing on the ground and that, and his parents hear the commotion, and he see him outside, writhing in agony on the ground, and then he go to his aid. The father stoops down and he examines him, and he says to the mother, he's dead. And that gets the ball rolling then, guys, for the story, because all these Hammer House of Horror episodes have a prologue, a dramatic prologue, at the beginning, and then story unfolds then after the the opening credits. Yeah. So this episode was first shown. On the 4th of October, 1980, and it stars Barbara Kellerman and Gary Bond. Yeah. Okay. So after the son's died in this horrible fashion, they go to adopt this other lad from a local orphanage, James. Yeah. Very aloof lad, but rather strange lad. And the minute they bring him home, strange things start happening. For instance, the mother, she loses control of the car, and it's sort of like you think she's going to crash in that as it passes the cemetery where her son's buried, and that she loses control of the vehicle, and the lad's just sort of sitting there, impassive and that, so there's that. And then they're having a meal, they're sitting down to dinner, and all of a sudden all these horrible maggots are in the meat and that. So that's another horrible incident. And then the boy, as I say, he starts behaving really oddly, strangely in that. He's got this aloof manner. In some ways, he's quite defiant of his new parents. And there's something, you just get the feeling there's something strange. There's a dark secret about him. he's very polite boy, very well spoken, very well dressed, but he's got this dark aura about him and that radiates from him throughout, as the story unfolds. He's got a very, very unsettling aspect. Yeah. So so you get all this disruption in his new household and that, his new parents and that, and the mother, she starts getting really concerned and that, and she does actually rebuke him because there's an incident. I won't go on too much about it. There's an incident involving a rabbit, and his mother rebukes him and that, and he gets all up and seat and defiance, and if you're going to start this with me, I'm going to go to the orphanage, go back to the orphanage and tell all about you. So that immediately sends alarm bells ringing, as the mother got some sort of dark secrets. He's very, very, all these strange things happening. He remains very, very calm, and emotionless and that. Then you've got the family dog, the family Rottweiler, Nipper. Now, strange things start happening around the family dog and that, because he starts going for people and that, and he attacks one of them and that, and the father, he's got no choice but to put him down and that, so he poisons the poor dog and he buries it and that. But then no sooner has he done that than hear strange howling noises in the night and that, as if the dogs come back from the dead. Oh, this is a very creepy episode, this, guys, it really is. It's in some ways, it's very reminiscent of The Omen, because you've got this lad, you know, and you've got like all these strange things happening around him and that, you know, and you start thinking, is he some sort of catalyst sparking all these weird, strange things that's going on in the house and that. There's also an element of vengeance from beyond the grave, and I won't give too much away, but there's that element as well. And as I say, the father, he continues to be like you know, all he seems to be concerned about is his work in the laboratory, you know, working on his experiment with this strange plants and that he hopes will cure, I think, the hunger problem in the world. Yeah, but he's experimenting anyway with this plant. You've got all these rabbits in these cages and that, you know, and but I won't go on too much about it now. I'll leave it there, guys. But this is a very, very enjoyable, creepy episode, and I think this is one of the best episodes, this one. You know, it really is. Growing Pains, yeah. As I say, there's just that photo there, guys, you know. But Barbara Kellerman, really on the money as the mother and that, you know, very, very pretty lady as well. She's been in a lot of plays, and she's even acted with Roger Moore and the Seawolves and that, yeah. Father's good as well in his role and that, and the lad as well, you know, James and that, yeah. Very fine cast, yeah. Really enjoyable storyline, and if you like stories like The Omen, you'll like this, I guarantee, yeah. Oh yeah, there's some rather sickly things in it, as I say, the maggots in the meal and that, and when the Rottweiler starts attacking and that indiscriminately, yeah. Again, very reminiscent of The Omen, you know, the Rottweiler and that, you know. But as I say, very, very creepy aura running throughout this story, and it's a story I really enjoyed, yeah. Right, guys, then, on to my final thoughts on the episode as a whole. Yeah, as I say, thoroughly enjoyed it. Very, very creepy. Very, very reminiscent of The Omen, you know, this creepy kid and that, you know, and, you know, all strange things happening in the house and that. And his parents and that becoming more and more unsettled in that about what's going on and that. They don't really know if the lad's causing it or there's some other source causing it. Love the twist at the end. It's got a great twist. Yeah, love the dark, ominous atmosphere that ran through the whole story. This had all the hallmarks, guys, of a typical Hammer horror, plot. Yeah. I only wish there could have been a bit longer because it was that enjoyable, you know. And what really struck me about this episode was you know, it was the way James, you know, the lad, the adopted, he all throughout when all these strange things were going on, he remained like weirdly calm, you know, and emotionless and that. You got the feeling that he was causing it. He was acting as some sort of catalyst, and he was causing all these supernatural things going on, you know, in the household and that. I didn't know what was going to happen next, you know. And the father, I say, he was like Frankenstein. All he was concerned about was his experiments and that with the rabbits and the plants and that, you know, to the exclusion of his own son, you know. But yeah, oh yeah, it's a very good one, this, guys. Yeah. I say Barbara Kellerman was fantastic portraying the mother. Oh, it's very good, yeah. A story full of a very dark ambience to it, and as I say, it very much deals with the themes of you know, child, you know, child disturbances and that, and you know, it gets settled in a new household and that, and neglect, you know, and you know, the science aspect with the father, the botanist, experimenting, you know, with this plants and that, this weird plants. But yeah, oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, guys. It's great. It's one of the best ones, Growing Pains. And if you're a Hammer House of Horror fan, and you've got this series, you know, in your collection, no doubt you will agree with me. Yeah, it's like a little mini Omen movie, you know, because you didn't really know about this lad James. You didn't know his background. You didn't know what he was going to do, whether he was going to kill his parents, whether he was going to kill people outside, you know, outside the household and that. And the weird part when she's driving him home in the car and she loses control and that, you know, oh yeah. And then when the car's a mechanic, he comes to examine the car to check for any faults, and he says to the lad James, because he comes around like James saying, "What are you doing in that, you know, the car and that?" and he says about the the way it lost control, and he said he couldn't find anything wrong with it. Yeah, so that's another strange thing in that, yeah. Oh, and all the weird howling in the night, like when he's just buried the dog, as if it's come back from the dead. Yeah, but I'll leave it there. I don't want to give any more away. You've got to check this episode out, guys. If you buy the Hammer House of Horror, this is one, in my opinion, it's one of the best ones. It really is. Growing Pains, fine acting all round, solid storyline. I was hooked from start to finish, and I've got no complaints at all about this episode. It hooked me from start to finish. Yeah, and again, the colour's lovely, absolutely pristine. As have been all the episodes in this imprint release of the the Hammer House of Horror. Yeah. Okay then, guys. Well, that concludes my review of episode 4 of Hammer House of Horror. Growing Pains. Have you seen this episode? What did you think of it? What do you think of the Hammer House of Horror series in general? Do you like it? I personally, it's one of my all-time favourite horror TV series. It's right up there with The Twilight Zone, Masters of Horror, Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. Shows like that. The American Show, Night Gallery. This is a fantastic series. I just wish, there's the couple there, guys. The in Growing Pains, the mother. And the the botanist, the dad, yeah. Barbara Kellerman, she's a very, very pretty lady, yeah. But thoroughly enjoyed Growing Pains and that, and I'm very, very pleased, on this occasion to give it, give a good review of one of the episodes of the. Well, most of them were good, just the odd one like that wasn't as strong, but this is one of the strong ones, guys. This one, Growing Pains, yeah. All right then, guys. Well, that concludes my review of episode 4 of Growing Pains from the 1980s horror TV series Hammer House of Horror. In the next video, I shall be reviewing episode 5, The House That Bled to Death, starring Nicholas Ball from Hazel. So stay tuned for that. Okay, guys, that's it. I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.